Hey everybody, this is Sanj, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to The Real Fan Review. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Listen to all our episodes on your favorite podcasting app, and make sure to like us and subscribe on YouTube so you can keep up to date with all the new episodes. If there's a topic you would like us to talk about, just let us know. Our email address is therealfanreview@gmail.com. Real is spelled R-E-E-L. Enjoy the show.
Today on The Real Fan Review, we go over the final trailer for Star Wars, and we get you ready for Terminator Dark Fate. Welcome to The Real Fan Review. What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going over that final trailer for Star Wars that came out last week. And also, we'll get you ready for Terminator Dark Fate. We'll get you that little recap there for the last two Terminator movies for this movie. Well, not the last two, right? Because it's supposed to be Terminator 1 and 2.
Yep. Just
I
didn't rewriting everything else after
apparently the other movies don't exist, so we just kind of have to treat it like they don't exist. So I mean, the two Terminator movies that were ever in existence, that's what we're going to talk about.
James Cameron's back.
There we go. James Cameron's back. Yeah, man. And to discuss this, man, we got the team here. We got all four of us. We got my brother B.
Get down now.
We got my boy Sanj.
Good evening, everybody. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
And we got our man in the chair, Al, with us.
How you doing, everybody?
Yes, and we're here together, man. Let's just get it out of the way, man. This Star Wars trailer came out last week, Monday. I know we had said on the last episode what we were hoping to see and what we wanted to see. So, Brandon, I'm bringing it to you first, man. What'd you think of the trailer?
There's a lot of jumping. I'm very excited for all the acrobatics. No, I mean, I feel a bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I mean, I said in the last one I didn't really want to see the trailer, but when it came up, of course, I had to see it. And I was hoping for something a little more exciting. I think they were really banking on the Emperor's back thing
And the feel of this
to
is
get
the
people
last
more
one.
to get people more excited, but I don't think it really hit its mark.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It sounds about you, man.
Listening to you guys, like, I don't know if we're all watching the same thing. Because I saw the trailer, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty exciting.
All right.
I liked everything. They jumped around from place to place. I saw new scenery that we haven't seen before. Like, there's the remnants of the Death Star and everything. This is, like, to me, this is incredible. Or maybe I'm just exciting that Star Wars is coming to an end.
Let it die. Jedi. The Jedi. Al, our Star Wars aficionado. What's going on, man? Tell me about this trailer.
In terms of the action, there was a lot of it, but it's going to have to rely on that because from what I saw in the clips,
Right.
I don't see the tying of all 9 movies.
Right. And
You know?
I heard it's a
wanna
long
see
movie,
that in
too.
No,
in
but
the trailer,
you don't
would
even
you?
see, it's not even by that I mean, like, you don't see there's no direction. It's literally just action scenes. So, like, sometimes, like, you can see, okay, I see what direction they're going in with this character or that character. But kind of like we were saying off air, for a movie that's wrapping up a 9-movie arc, there's nobody left for it to use to wrap up.
Right.
And
Like,
it declared that. We
It's
didn't declare that.
yeah,
It did.
It's all the new characters. So you got Rey, who is what do they call it? The Mary Sue, like when the character
Mary Sue, yeah.
can't do anything wrong. So in 3 movies, she's now a master Jedi who can defeat the Emperor. Apparently,
hate. Yes, let the hate
so
flow.
there's nobody to. You're wrapping up what? Because these are all new people that just came in from
Feel
movie
the
7.
hate, the dark side, the Jedi.
So
Something dark side.
So basically, I'm hoping they can prove get rid of my doubts and.
Was
prove
that
me-
Endor in the trailer?
It looks like
I
it
don't
was
think so.
Endor.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that it looks like Endor, but
It's just because of the forest.
because of the fact that the Death Star parts are there, so it's like
Yeah, that's
it's
what the last
probably-
fight was,
yeah.
right? I don't know. For me, guys, I told you what I was looking for. I wanted to see something that was going to make me go, oh, whoa, I need to see this. And
Yeah.
honestly, it just I got a lot of scenes like saying that it's gonna be epic. You know, you saw the scene with all the battleships or all these Star Wars ships up there, the Rebel Alliance. You see the old destroyers from the original Star Wars movies. You saw them up in the sky and coming off from the ice. So it's like you got some good scenes there, but there was nothing that I saw that made me go, "Whoa, yeah, I need to see this." Because like, one of the things I wanted to see personally was just a glimmer of the Knights of Ren standing or using their weapons real quick or something. We got no shots of the Knights of Ren, so at least that gives me something to look forward to in the movie because I know they're in it. But there was nothing specific besides.
So to interject,
Yeah,
that Knights of Ren scene would be like a big payoff for you, right?
I think it would be because the way they sold it in the first
Now,
the first movie of this trilogy.
Let me just give you an example.
Go for it.
Captain America wielding Thor's hammer. Big payoff, right?
Huge.
Would you have wanted to see that in a trailer?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. But like these are characters that they've been hyping up as far as
I think Mjolnir is a character by itself too. I mean, just to be fair, right? It has a name.
Yeah.
It kind of has a life of its own.
It moves.
It moves.
Yeah, it does move. Yeah, I don't know. But again, there was nothing that I saw that made me just go, "Oh wow." I mean, maybe a couple things like again, seeing all the different spaceships from the Rebel side
That was
floating
sick.
in the air was kind of crazy. But as far as maybe
What about the scene with all the Star Destroyers?
that too, but I wanted to see something where maybe Rey and Kylo fighting each other. If anything, honestly, what I saw in this trailer was them teaming up. It looked like
Again.
Yeah.
and I'm like, why?
But
are
then they were
teaming
also
up?
fighting.
They were they were fighting on the top of that space destroyer. I think there was where it looked
on
like
the water.
they was super soaked.
Yeah.
It's a good place to
Came
fight.
through the mist with the red sword there and looked cool. But at the same time, they also showed a scene where they're both knocking over a black statue,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait, are they working together?
She had
I'm
a
like,
dagger in her hand too, which was interesting.
didn't notice that.
Yes, she
Yeah,
did.
which is interesting because for a Jedi to have something other than a lightsaber must be something important.
Well,
Right.
they said that if you watch the Clone War cartoon series,
It's like a Jedi relic or
it's
something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
Like something that they can possess. The Sith, like the Sith,
Oh, it's a Sith relic.
the
Okay.
way the Jedi's do Force
Force
Ghosts, the Sith possess objects. So they're saying that was something. It might have
Yeah.
even been something that Palpatine possessed, and that's how he comes into. Who knows?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, now and then there's of course that one scene where you hear Palpatine speaking, and they don't show him, but it looks like there's someone in a chair floating, or there's someone in a chair high up, and they also showed a big throne.
Yeah.
Al, your opinion? That's no doubt Palpatine.
I'm assuming it'll be combined with the fact that they did bring the actor in. They introduced him on stage at Comic-Con or wherever that was. The throne that they show is based on original concept art that they did for Palpatine's throne room in Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's Palpatine.
Yeah.
Again, how they're bringing him back and what context, and how sad is it that we're not talking about characters that are exciting us, but seeing Star Destroyers. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's
Well,
how
it wasn't the Star Destroyer specific. It was just there was
Massive.
1,000 Star Destroyers
Yeah.
But still, like, for
in
that
a
to
fleet.
be
That
what's
tells you yo,
exciting-
there's some shit about to pop off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you recall when the trailer for Phantom Menace came out, and you saw who you didn't really know Qui-Gon at that time, but you saw the Jedi fighting Darth Maul and then him unleashing the second blade.
Oh, that's what I'm
you all
talking
went
about.
nuts, right?
Yes.
So I feel like that's
yes.
what I feel like this trailer was building up the nostalgia.
When Ray flipped down that second half of the staff there, come on, guys.
That wasn't in this trailer.
Oh,
though.
that was in the
that was
other
one of those
trailer.
I guess they were trying to hype up that the trailer was coming or something, maybe a few
like
weeks
a
ago.
teaser pick or a teaser clip.
Teaser something, yeah. But again, that scene where Darth Maul puts the two blades out in the preview, when you
went
saw the trailer, you're like,
crazy.
oh, he's gonna kick some ass. And then, granted, he didn't kick any ass. He was kicked ass for 5 minutes. But at the same time, in the trailer, that got you hyped up for the movie.
Well,
to
he
see.
did kill Qui-Gon.
Yeah, but I'm saying that for as badass as the trailers made him
You
seem,
saw him fight twice.
yeah, and that was it. That's a character you would think would keep going, which he ends up doing in
In the Clone Wars, yeah.
yeah.
Clone
But
Wars, yeah.
anyway, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Sanj, you from seeing this trailer, you're hyped. You're ready to
Right.
go.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
Which is I'm very surprised. By
I
you
think
guys.
we're
I think
just
it's-
all still.
I think
hurt
it's like
from
real.
Last
And I was
Jedi.
We're
gonna
all
say,
butt hurt.
yeah, like real fan. Like not,
My butt does not
to
hurt.
Say, but a lot of people that were like
Just you.
in it from the beginning.
It's just me.
Yeah.
Oh man, listen. Either way, we're all seeing it. We got the tickets already for December 20th, that Friday, and we're all gonna check it out. And of course, before the movie comes out, we'll all get together. We'll review all 8 movies. Jesus Christ!
Damn. Well, I mean,
We
if
gotta
you
break that up into
if
2
you review
episodes.
4, you're reviewing 7. If you review 5, you review.
Well, here, check it out for Endgame and
Oh, we
Infinity
went in
War.
on
We
Endgame.
went through what 20 movies.
I guess 8 won't be bad.
I guess
I don't want to talk about the Last Jedi. Gosh.
You know, it's funny. Like, the more I read about the Last Jedi and like clues and giveaways and this, like, you just didn't catch. And I guess maybe we're just so angry about it that we didn't catch all these things. Like,
Yeah.
Luke not making any prints on the planet was a giveaway that he was a Force ghost.
Right.
You know, like things like that. Where, like, you know, they in the same scene, like, you saw Kylo Ren's feet make prints, and then they put the camera over to his feet, on Luke's feet, and he didn't make any prints, and that was supposed
Yeah.
to be the giveaway. And it's like little things like that. It's cool to see the Easter eggs from that movie now, with the things that you like didn't miss. I mean, sorry, the things that you did miss and all that stuff. So interesting. Still angry, but still angry, but interesting.
Yeah, Mary Poppins, Leia, I'm good. Thank you. We'll pass. Oh man.
yeah, that was pretty bad.
Like, I was like, did she just float in space and then die, or? Oh man.
And I'm sitting there. Yes, ruin the franchise. Yes.
Sanjay's Palpatine. Sanjay is Palpatine. Yes, buy the tickets. It sucks. Oh man, it's so funny, man. But yeah, that's gonna be our thoughts on the trailer there for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, coming out December 20th. For the real fans out there, we know it's December 19th, but December 20th is their confirmed opening night there. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get you guys ready for Terminator Dark Fate. Oh, man, Terminator Dark Fate looks good. The reviews are good.
Sarah Connor.
Oh, man. And then what was also good about Terminator Dark Fate coming out, it gave me, again, a reason to rewatch Terminator 1, Terminator 2. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch both of them or you just remember them pretty much, but I got a chance to watch both.
I did get a chance to rewatch the first one. I cannot for the life of me remember the second one, so I gotta watch the second one.
No, T2 is a great movie, and I think honestly that movie was so good. Once we start talking about it, it's gonna come back to you.
Okay.
As soon as I started watching the movie, I was just like, oh, that's right, I remember all of this stuff. But let's start off with Terminator 1. If I remember correctly, the world's supposed to end in 10 years from now. LA 2029. It goes to shit.
California's going to shit right now. They just
That was like pretty accurate.
instead of like
Skynet or
fixing
not.
instead of fixing the power grid, they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna shut
it
down
off.
a few counties at a time. Yeah, we'll just do that. And then there's the wildfires burning uncontrollably.
I'm pretty sure
As a matter of fact,
Skynet's behind
as
it.
a matter of fact, the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, had to evacuate his home.
You had to go fight
started
Skynet.
it.
That's what. Had to go fight Skynet. You don't want to tell nobody.
But in watching that movie, man, in Terminator 1, it was kind of weird because I think, I don't think, knowing the movie, we know the Terminator's in the movie. But watching the first hour of the movie, it's just like a weird stalking movie.
It is.
Yeah.
Who's Sarah? Where you going, Sarah? I'm Kyle. Kyle Reese. I'm in a trench coat.
And not for
I
nothing,
have no clothes
man.
on under this trench coat. That movie could not get made today.
Dude.
Man, he didn't ruin your birthday.
Your birthday. Hey, this is so funny, man, because there's certain things I don't remember. Like, I didn't even remember that they came out buck naked from the future. So, like, that was
Always.
so hilarious. I'm like, no clothes? I'm like, all right, I guess I forgot about that part. And I'm like, okay, so Arnold comes out, and then here he is to go see, I guess he's trying to find clothes or
Just buns of steel. Mr. Olympia.
He's Mr. Olympia's walking, swing-a-linging, and I'm like, whoa, why is this in this movie?
Somebody was paying attention,
dude. It's just, you try not to notice things like that, but it's just like, okay, this guy's really butt naked.
Look at his bulging biceps.
Anyway, man, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger clearly at his like peak as far as physique and everything. This guy was killing it, man. Terminator.
I wouldn't say that it was his peak. It seems like he could have rose a little bit from that.
Thank God he didn't rise from any of this. But anyway, dude, those punkers, isn't one of those punkers like a real he's like one of these actors, right?
Well, they're all actors.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a bigger actor. I forgot the guy.
Yeah, the guy from he was an Alien.
He was an Alien. He was in the Marvel show that's on TV that just got canceled. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was one of the guys, and I think he recently passed away actually. But he was the blue punk head with the funky mohawk, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know that actor, and I'm like, he was in Terminator. Holy crap! But
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton, yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and he's been in a lot of other stuff.
Of course, yeah.
There's a show that he had on HBO, Big Love. Me and my wife really enjoyed that show.
Yeah, man, he was in the movie as one of the punk people that he ends up beating up for clothes, and then from there you just see him
punches right through them or something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
he pulls one of their hearts out.
Yeah,
it's just so ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah.
But
for the 80s, that was crazy.
He goes in, but you know what I was gonna say with that movie being rated R. It's so funny what rated R is to compare to that time when that movie came out till now. I don't know if you guys noticed, but every time he was shooting someone, they would show him shooting the gun, but not. It didn't show.
Swinging dick is okay.
But yeah, you never saw him actually shooting anybody besides like a couple of scenes where you saw like the I guess him shooting someone in the back. Nothing crazy. But most of the super violent stuff, it was never you saw it. It wasn't like how right now when we see rated R, you're seeing everything. You're seeing how the person's getting hit. You see the blood, and all
spatter,
the stuff.
everything.
Yeah.
It's very gruesome.
And even when they did the club scene and he was shooting people with the shotgun, you just saw their body fall forward.
Exactly. And I just thought that was real interesting seeing the rated R movie from then comparing it to now. But with that Terminator also, man, I just thought it was done pretty good, man. I mean, even like just Arnold acting, speaking his words, he seemed like a damn robot. It seemed like a Terminator. And
your strong suit is not talking, so just don't.
And when you do, just sound like that, yeah. yeah. And you see the first of all, the guns that he gets is ridiculous. But then you see he goes to this is the weird thing. Like, how did he know to go to a phone book to find their addresses? And he just basically like, I'm gonna kill every Sarah Connor in here. It's just like
because they didn't know what she looked like.
Gotcha.
They just knew her name and where she was living at the time.
So Kyle was the only one who had the picture.
Yes.
Because what's his name? John Connor had given it to him when they were working, I guess, surviving together.
Yeah, so Sergeant Kyle Reese was sent over to protect Sarah Connor. Now, I'm going to ask you guys something really quick. Your opinion, Sanj. Did John Connor know he was sending his dad?
Yes. Oh,
okay, Sanj.
I didn't try. I didn't hear the Sanj.
Take it away, Al.
No, go ahead. Yeah, no.
Yeah, well.
Well, his mom knew, right? So his mom would have had to tell him how this all happened, right? So he would have to send his father back. So yeah, he knew.
He knew, but
she
he didn't.
gave John the picture.
Yeah,
But she also makes the recording at the end of the movie.
Right, in the recording, she said she wasn't sure to tell him or not, but she said she should.
Yeah.
I don't know, because then I'm like, that whole time, John Connor didn't even like acknowledge him as his dad. He didn't tell him anything. Like,
no, I don't think he tells him. I think that's why he sends him.
He sends him because he knows that's his dad.
Yeah. Kind of like in Endgame when he says, "If I tell you, it won't happen." Like, so if he tells him he's sending him back because he's his father, would it have happened?
No, because then he would have been trying to hit it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know how that
like, I gotta do this.
Yeah, I gotta do this.
I'm your kid's father, so let's just go.
This way it happens organically. It's romantic,
It was just so weird. I was just thinking about a couple of things in that movie, man. But I mean, to be honest with you, when I was watching the movie, I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was this great movie. I never remembered it being a great movie, but it was
incredible.
But it was good.
It was a low budget B movie, and it just picked up this cult following. And then it was T2 that really
T2 was the
Yeah,
one.
yeah
T2
because
was
then
the
it
one.
it got greenlighted for a big budget. And it became one of those big summer blockbusters. So.
Absolutely, man. Now, I mean, what's your take on the first one, Brandon? Like, did you like the whole scene? I mean, because again, we didn't see he was a Terminator until we seeing little hints when I think something happened to his eye and he
got the red eye. You didn't really get the full grasp of it until the end of the movie when Kyle Reese was trying to blow him up like a dozen times.
Yeah.
So with the pipe bomb, right?
Yeah, it was a pipe
It was
bomb.
like three pipe bombs, and he put it in. Yeah. I mean, I thought the movie was really fun. You know, like for an '80s movie, it wasn't crazy, it wasn't incredible. I think the ending was really good.
The ending was crazy.
You know,
yeah.
I think people remember the ending more than anything else,
Right,
Because of how good it was.
Right, that's what she squished him with the compactor.
Yeah.
Brandon, you're like the music guy. All of us, you and Signs like music a lot. What did you think of all the synthesizer?
I mean, it's appropriate. It's the
Appropriate
80s,
for the
you know.
time.
The 80s is all about the synth. So I mean, but if you think about the Terminator theme today, you know, everyone knows the dot 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 dot, you know.
Yeah.
And then the melody that comes behind, like if you're a true fan, you know the melody. Yeah. If not, you just know the da 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 part.
Yeah, and it's funny because listening to it, I was waiting for the da da da, but it wasn't as emphasized as it is in these newer movies.
Right.
In that movie, it was like da 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 da. I'm like, what?
It's like, I'm here.
I remember it being a little bit more.
Couldn't afford a drum set. You know?
And
That's when the synthesizer came in.
the gain on the equipment wasn't.
Al, how about you, man? What'd you think of Terminator 1 rewatching it and everything?
No, I remember liking it. The first time I watched it, I'm dating myself, but I remember being in Brooklyn with my cousins watching it on TV.
Yeah.
So every time I watch it, it always takes me back to then, and remembering what it was like watching a movie like that back then.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you have to forget everything you know now, and even compared to some of the movies now, the way the story played out, it's a lot better than nowadays. I think they rely a little bit too much sometimes on the CGI,
Right.
and on just we can fix that with the computer or whatever. Here they had to rely on the story, on the actors more so than anything else.
Yeah.
Because even when they did finally show him operating on himself in that hotel room and
Oh,
everything,
that was
it looked
horrendous, dude.
yeah, it looked horrible. Like, but in terms of the story, you still accepted it and
Yeah.
yeah, no. It
Even
worked.
when
I
they went
liked
back and forth through time to show you the Judgment Day
The
and everything
future
like
and
that.
everything,
Yeah.
yeah.
How
You know
about you,
what's crazy?
Sanj?
Like looking at that stuff when you first see it, you're like, oh man, this looks so real, it looks so crazy. And now you look at it, oh man, you could tell that's fake. Like special effects and makeup and everything has gotten so good and you know increased in quality so much that when you look at it now, yeah, but when you were looking at it for the first, it's just like video games. You go back, 10 years, like the NBA video game, right? And they walk out, and you're like, oh my god, it looks like real. Now you look at it, you're like, oh my god, this is trash. Like the movement is, and everything. But hey, look, I thought it was a good movie, and when for the time period, and then T2 built on it.
Yeah, man. Now speaking of T2, Sanj, I know you said you didn't see it
I gotta
recently, but
I gotta see it again because I just
from
can't
what you remember of it, man, it was, that movie's considered a classic for a lot of people, and I think it was really, really well done. I actually watched it over again. I thought it was great. Is there anything that you do remember about?
Yeah,
the
I thought it was
T2?
cool
Like,
how he came back as the Terminator, but now he's trying to help them. And at
how
first
they flipped the
the
script on it. Yeah,
yeah, I thought that was cool. So you turned the villain of the first movie now into a hero.
yeah.
So I
right?
thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because I think the story was that John Connor re-engineered or reprogrammed
Yeah, they captured one and reprogrammed it.
the
to help.
T800, right? That's
Yeah,
the
T800.
classic T800. And then this is when we got introduced to Liquid.
The T1000.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God. And not for nothing, man. That actually, the difference in the CG from the first one to the second one is a very big difference, man.
There was a big time difference.
7 years.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking
Yeah.
about a whole decade's worth of progress
right?
Yeah.
in special effects. You know.
And compared to what we're seeing now, so I can only imagine what we're going to see in Dark Fate as far as
Yeah.
CG and everything. And I don't know, even the story I thought was just really, really well done. You know,
It
you
was
got
really
attached
well
to Arnold Schwarzenegger and John Connor,
Mhm.
even though when we meet John Connor, he's being a complete dick of a teenager.
How true.
But
John Connor.
even like there were certain scenes that like you kind of like you don't realize that it's affecting you or making you feel a little bit more for the characters. But even John Connor teaching him how to talk, you know,
Yeah.
you can start to see that they're building that relationship, that friendship as, you know, the cyborg.
Remember when we
and-
first saw this stuff? All right, now I'm gonna date us. We weren't adults.
right.
You know, we were teenagers. So for us at that time, it's just the shooting, the fighting, the special effects. That's what we're into. We're not into really the minutia of it and the interaction between the characters.
Or
so
the true story of
or
it
the true
too,
story
yeah.
of it too. We're not thinking about that. You know, even the concept of he sent his father back in time to die, and like he was there with his father the whole time, you know, and not
Yeah.
interacting. He knows, but his dad doesn't know. Like, just try to run that through your head and how that would make a person feel. Or
Right.
whatever. We weren't thinking about any of that
No.
at that time. We're just like, ha ha, whatever.
He's cool.
Yeah,
He's shooting
exactly.
guns
Yeah,
on a
he's shooting
bike.
guns on the bike. Yeah. Oh, that guy boned his mom. You know, like yeah, that's what we're thinking about. You know, like yeah.
Al, man, for you, man, I mean, with T2, man, it kind of changed the game as far as the CG and everything, because that liquid, was he liquid nitrogen or what was he?
Like, yeah, I
Liquid
don't know.
metal or
just
something
liquid
like that.
metal.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it
man.
was funny because even when you watched it a couple years later, you see like the fake, like the shotgun blast that hit him.
Uh-huh.
You see that they're just like some kind of plastic thing or whatever that was put on top of him.
Uh-huh.
Like it was obvious how bad
Yeah.
the graphics were. Like it wasn't even computerized. They literally looks like they just put something on him
Right.
that was silver, that was supposed to be like his metal after he got shot, and they forgot they weren't at the right angle, so it became obvious that it was like standing off of it.
Oh, my God.
But as in terms of a story, like I think they touched on everything. Like I don't think there was anything where I would be like, oh, there's a big hole there. Like I don't remember a big hole in that story.
Yeah.
The whole thing with
standing
Sarah
out for me.
Connor, you know, when she got into it, the movie
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
turned from there because her seeing the Terminator for the first time with her son, you know,
Yeah.
that was a lot. That was pretty cool, you know, and how the story progressed to her kind of respecting the Terminator closer to the end of the movie, you know.
Absolutely.
So that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when she saw him tell her, he's like, you know, there's one more chip left. Because during the movie, what happens is looks like somebody from, is it Skynet or
Yeah.
it's someone from Skynet has the arm from the Terminator from the first one
And the chip.
and the chip, and they
Well, part of
destroy
it, yeah, they were reverse engineering, and that's how they were coming up with all this technology.
Absolutely. So, you know, they destroyed in this like molten lava looking stuff, or I don't know what it
That's a
was.
thumbs up.
You know, he looks at them, he goes, there's one more chip. And they're like, what are you going to do? And he says, you have to lower me down.
Because
Oh,
he can't
man.
kill himself.
Right, he can't self-terminate is what he says. So, I mean, it was very deep. It was cool. A lot of the action scenes in the movie were awesome.
They're
Like that first
awesome.
interaction in the mall, the chase
The
scene.
helicopter.
Yeah, man. It was just a really, really good movie, and I thought it was well done. And less synthesizer on this one.
We had an actual orchestra on this one.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, listen, if anyone is trying to see these two movies, I would definitely recommend seeing T2. T2 Judgment Day was actually
yeah.
really good.
Mm-hmm.
Terminator 1, I think just to kind of get the background story of John
I mean,
Connor's
that's
dad.
just a classic. You have to see
Yeah.
that no matter what.
Absolutely, man. I mean, for you guys, what do you say? Terminator
T2.
1 and 2 are good?
Oh, yeah,
Great?
yeah.
I mean, I feel like, to be honest, you could somewhat get away with not seeing the Terminator, the first one. Like if you only own T2 and you couldn't find a way to see the first one, because they do call back the first one in the beginning of the movie. I think they even show the scene where she kills the first Terminator.
Not that I remember, but
Or was that in another movie?
maybe that was one of the
I
other
think maybe one of
T3 or
the
T4.
Terminator 3.
Yeah.
Because I know they do give a callback to like what happened beforehand in like the slightest sense.
Gotcha, man. So I mean, I guess my one thing is if you guys, you know, are listening, if you're gonna see this Terminator Dark Fate, they're recommending you do see part 1 and part 2 of Terminator just to catch up with the Cameron version of the Terminator story.
Mm-hmm.
So now going into Terminator Dark Fate, where do you guys think some of these characters are? Because I think they're gonna have to explain to me how there is an older Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie, because I forgot that he killed himself in T2 at the end of this movie, but we clearly see that Terminator, the T-800, is in this time period, and he's also older. What is your take on that?
That I'd want to see how he's still there too, because he buried himself, he burned himself alive. The old part I can understand because he's still living organism on top. Right. So the living organism is still going to age. I'm just curious as to how he's even still there. Is this a different one?
Right.
How do they explain that? How is he still there? But they had to bring Arnold back, so
they're
gonna
can't
write
do this
him
movie
in.
without Arnold now.
Unless he's not. No, but he is the Terminator because they show fight scenes of him fighting. So I was gonna say maybe he's like the guy who.
Yeah, there's him. There's the human Terminator now.
Yeah.
And then this other Terminator.
Right, the one that splits into two,
Yeah.
which I think is going to be freaking awesome to see.
I want to see where John Connor is.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, Sean. Like, from seeing John Connor from 1 and 2, what do you think? Like, first of all, I'm not even sure if he's in this movie. I think he's in this movie. There's supposed to be like a surprise guest that might be him. Like, from what you remember of 1 and 2, where can you kind of see his story going right now? Because right now they should be, I don't know if they're going to say their current day 2019, and they're 10 years away from all of this.
Well, I mean, I want to see a little bit more of John Connor, because the only time we really get more John Connor stories in the Terminators that are now being wiped out of the story.
Right.
In the first 2, there wasn't much John Connor other than, well, the older John Connor anyway. Right. Other than he sent his mother, he sent his father back and whatever, and then you see him as a teenager. So I want to see what does he grow into, and are they going to give us some future scenes as well? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, man.
I feel like there's gonna be a twist where like this T-800 came back, at some point in John Connor's like 20s, and John Connor got killed. Like something killed him.
Right, I'm thinking something like that too, because
that's why this dark fate.
We must replace John Connor.
Well, because they're trying to put this other lead, another
right. That's
lead.
Gonna say there's this girl that's in this movie that they're super protecting. They have this human form Terminator who's more human, cyborg probably. Science question: how much computer stuff in the person makes them a cyborg?
I don't know.
What would you say for yourself? Like, if you have a robotic arm, I don't think you're considered a cyborg.
I mean, I guess genitals.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I guess if you still have like real life human genitals, you're still human.
Not brain or nothing like that.
Well,
just balls.
Looks down. My dick's still there.
Yep, I'm human.
But I may be a cyborg.
I mean, once the brain is, if they replace the brain, I mean, you're not a human anymore. But I mean, like you would figure, like most cyborgs you see is like, or like enhanced humans, like the brain got put into a body or something like that. So that person's like, all right, you're like a cyborg. You're like you can't experience life as a human anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like the good stuff about life.
I got a robo dick.
Yeah.
I'm a cyborg now.
Oh, mama. I'm a cyborg now.
Oh, mama. Hey, Brandon, man.
I mean, what are you going to have? Like technosperm? Like, I don't know. Your sperm comes out. Dun, 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 dun. You know that?
That's an interesting.
Hey, Brandon, man, for
this
you,
just
man.
went sideways so quickly.
So hilarious, man. And for you, man, Brandon, Sarah Connor, man, where do you think her story's at, man?
I mean,
because she looks completely badass in this movie.
She's awesome, but I feel like this may be the Sarah Connor who maybe lost her son. The way she's acting around the Terminators, the way her whole like mood that you can see from her.
She just seems very angry.
Angry, right? So like I think this is the Sarah Connor who lost her son, and now the future has changed, this dark fate, that someone else took the position that John Connor was supposed to be in the future.
That's a crazy take, man. Never thought of that concept. Honestly, that's awesome.
Or could it be that the way to prevent Judgment Day was to kill John Connor?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's crazy because again, they're gonna have to explain. That's the part that makes it a little difficult because we're jumping around the stories. You know, they're telling us, "Oh, forget Terminator 3, 4, and the last one."
And Genesis.
They say, forget that. But those movies kind of explain why the Terminator's still around and certain things are still happening.
John Connor.
Right. But now,
Right, like, you see?
if we're led to believe that it ended in Terminator 2 and now we're going to this story, they got a lot of explaining to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
Lucy.
yeah, man. I don't know.
Especially the way, Terminator 3 set up the story. With Skynet becoming aware, Judgment Day happening, and
Right.
John Connor finding out that he just needs to become a leader. Like, regardless that he's a general or not, or he knows how to do it, he just had to become a leader for these people.
Right.
Because it was happening and he knew he had to step up. So, like, it's interesting that we're just throwing that one away and now going back to T2 for this new one. So it's like,
Because in T3, I thought that was really cool, like how you got to see Skynet activate at the end,
too.
where you'd be like, "Holy crap,
Yeah,
they did it to
not
themselves."
for nothing. I know a lot of people didn't like Terminator 3 because they said it fell off a little bit. Personally, I enjoyed Terminator 3. I thought it was cool to have the female Terminator. Also, the new story about John Connor having to become a leader.
yeah.
And Skynet coming official at the end of the movie was just awesome. I'm like, oh, they're preventing it. I'm like, oh, no, they didn't prevent it. It actually happened.
They actually set it off.
Yeah.
So
They explain how
there's
he
that.
survived, how he didn't die in the initial onslaught.
Yeah.
They answered a lot, but I'm just confused because I'm looking over the casting crew, the list for Dark Fate, and Edward Furlong is in here, but as his character, he's referenced as John Connor reference, almost like it's a flashback.
Right.
So I'm wanting to think like might be onto something, that this is John Connor's died, and this is a different timeline, a different reality, or just something different altogether. But it still doesn't then explain where they're going with the story. Like, I don't understand where they're going then if he's dead. How does she even know that this girl's significance?
Gotcha.
It's
To the
crazy
point
'cause
where
if-
she came on the bridge to help her. Because in the scene, they show that she's getting attacked, and Sarah Connor drives up. Like, I half expected her to walk out of the door as it was sliding to the side, and then shoots him with the rocket launcher. So, like, how does she know to now come and defend this girl?
Right. Yeah. And listen, they clearly must be doing something right because, again, the reviews are coming out that it is one of the best Terminators after T2.
Cool.
So I guess, they're like,
Yeah.
James Cameron, once again,
He took it back.
Yeah.
He took it back.
Unless it's James Cameron making all the commercials about how he's got movie making equipment, clearly.
Yeah. So crazy, man. But yeah, man. And then I guess the last thing I wanted to ask you guys, because it seems like more and more people are doing this technique of, well, not a technique, but what they're deciding to do is, we're gonna keep these movies of this franchise, and we're gonna ask you guys to forget the rest, right? Like Halloween last year, they did that. They kept Halloween 1, and then they said this is Halloween 2. Forget all H2O, 2, 3, 5, all that stuff. No, it's Halloween 1, and then this Halloween, and then I think if I remember correctly, what's the guy, Jigsaw? I think they were trying to do that with Jigsaw too, trying to say that we're going to keep a certain amount of movies and then just, you can forget the rest. Right? Like, what you see they're doing that with this Terminator where they're forgetting 3, 4, 5. What's your guys' take on that? Are you guys okay with them just like saying, okay, we're just going to act like Iron Man 3 didn't happen?
That'd be great.
It didn't.
Well, I
It didn't
mean,
happen.
look,
I didn't see it.
I would prefer that because it's honest, instead of them making a movie that they do some sort of time travel and this and that and the other. They have so many other techniques where they wipe out bad story or stories that they didn't, that they want to retcon. And
Shooting your shot at X-Men, huh?
Oh, but no, you've seen it in other. Oh, we're now in an alternate timeline. J.J. Abrams, things like that. And to me, those are just cheap tricks. Whereas they're just like, hey, you know what? Yeah, we didn't like how we did that. We're just gonna do this over.
Yeah.
I agree, because it's hard with the amount of time that's passed. You know, you've had 3 Terminator movies in this time since T2. You know, it's hard to say that those don't count or they're alternate time
Just
period.
forget those, Brandon.
Just forget them. You know, it's just like, all right, well, that was 20 years of Terminator movies in between. So I don't know, like what T2 came out, what, 97?
Right.
So like it's now 2019. So it's hard to forget 20 something years of movies.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad that the movie is apparently doing well and that James Cameron came back to do it, and it sounds like a great story. It's just hard to say like everything that you saw was just another alternate timeline.
Yeah.
You know, we have 3 alternate timelines happening, so I feel like it's weird. But I'm, as long as this goes well, you know, I'm happy.
You good? Al, how about you, man? What is this? Does that do anything for you? Because you know you saw it. What if Matrix 4 comes out and they're like, we're just remembering Matrix 1. You guys didn't see 2 or 3.
That'd be bullshit.
Right? You see what I'm saying?
That
was just one version of the
Matrix. On the
Matrix.
story too. Like the Matrix that's different storytelling.
Yeah.
You know.
It also makes it. See, the only advantage they have in the Terminator universe with this is that the whole movie and universe centers around time travel.
Right.
Like they've mastered it. They can say how and where they're going to send someone. So they can always play like, oh yeah, you know, someone in the future still plays out, and now they're going after this point. So now that changes anything that happened after that.
Right.
So they can play on that, which may factor into maybe the new Terminator Arnold character.
Right.
Is another T-800 that was sent back, and this time he didn't burn himself.
See, I messed up, man.
Because he didn't protect Connor. Maybe this time they survived. They were able to actually get to him.
Gotcha.
So, and now he's, you know, that's why he's off on his own, and she knows where he is, but she doesn't really deal with him.
Because that's the thing. Once you introduce time travel into a story, okay, so the bad guy fails. What stops him from just keep coming back and coming back and coming back?
Exactly. Just until he gets the job done, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the good guy sends somebody back.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, the good guys never have the resources that the bad guys have to keep doing it over and over, right?
Yeah. All right, man. So you know what? I got one last question because Sanj, you're a movie collector like I am. I don't know if Brandon and Al really are, but I see your collection actually.
Yes.
It's right behind me.
Yes.
So here's your situation. Terminator Dark Fate comes out. It's great. The hell do you do with T3, T4, and T5?
I bring them over to your house and around Christmas time, and we sit down, we have a little eggnog, and we throw them on the fire.
There it is. That's the part that gets me pissed off.
Christmas
I'm like,
music playing in the background. Chestnuts roasting.
Get down, Raul.
And that's what you would hear as they burn.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh man, that's insane, man. So, all right, guys. So listen, man, that's gonna be our episode for today, man. We wanted to get you guys ready, get a little prep going for Terminator Dark Fate. We're excited to see it, and just go over our review of Star Wars. Next week's episode for sure, we're gonna give you a review and what we thought of Terminator Dark Fate. And
Tickets have been bought.
Yes, they have. And once we watch that movie, man, we'll get that review to you guys. We'll give you our take on where it ranks with the Terminators there, and if it's worth taking out T3, T4, and T5 there. Genesis.
That's a lot of termination. Oh, boom, boom.
All right, man. So signing off, man. This has been Brandon, Sanj, and Al, and myself, Hav. We thank you always for listening. And remember, guys, if you have any kind of like topics you want us to discuss, just email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, therealfanreview.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And as always, we thank you for listening. Have a good night.